evening. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Can y'all hear me okay? Welcome to the Rich Live Show. Happy Tuesday evening to you. Good evening to you. My moderators, Renee, Ronnie. Hello, Shay. Good evening to you, Val. Everybody else that's getting logged on, all right? I just want to have a conversation, as I do each and every Tuesday evening. Good evening to you, Glotori. Everybody else getting logged in. Yeah, so if this is your first time, welcome to the Rich Live Show. I'm Rich, and we're live. I'm broadcasting in the ATL, and look at them using this like a mirror. So, hey, hopefully y'all guys having a wonderful Tuesday evening. Background track. Where is it? There we go. That's my song there. All right. Renee said you look good. Good evening, Lady CK. So today's going to be a little bit more free flowing than usually. I always got something on my mind. Always got something on my chest. Ronnie, what you say? No sound? Check MSC. Thank you, Shay. Thank you. So, Renee, do me a favor. Go over to the MSC Network homepage and pull me up and tell them they have to unmute the speaker button on the player. Ronnie's telling me there's no sound over there. So, hey, without further ado, thank you for joining. Good evening to you. Is that Elvira? How you doing? Good to see you back. Listen, I just want to have a conversation. Each and every Tuesday, I go through the week and I have things on my mind, and I just kind of free flow sometimes and have a conversation about things that are going on in our life and how to navigate through it. You know, I'm a life and a business strategist, a little different than a coach. So listen, if you want some strategies, I want to have a dialogue with you guys. And if feel free, if you want to come on the screen and ask questions, we'll have a conversation about it. Listen, in today's climate, in today's society, I guess what I want us to start doing more of is depending on ourselves. You know, it's easy to get kind of rattled in what's going on in today's society with the political climate, with the crime, with everything that's going on. It's really, really easy to get distracted, to become afraid. You look at what's happening in the economy with the health care system. A lot of the listeners here are in their mid ages, 30 something, 40, 50, 60. I have listeners all the way up to their 80s. And I notice the older that we get, sometimes we worry more about how we're going to take care of ourselves. And we're looking for society and the government and other situations to figure it out. So we have to start depending a little bit more, relying a little bit more on the intuition and what we know. We know a lot more than what we actually utilize. And a lot of times fear is driven by ignorance. Ignorance meaning not that you're ignorant, but just not knowing. So, with today's tools and information that we have access to, a lot of times it's not a reason to be afraid. In the midst of coaching and everything that we're doing, and everybody that comes here every week, I kind of try to gauge and see if people are actually developing, are they really trusting themselves? One thing that society has taught us from the pandemic is that we have learned to rely more on technology. We have learned to rely more on people figuring things out for us, telling us where to go and what to do. this whole TikTok thing and social media and everything that's going, it's so much information out there. But a lot of times we get stuck with the information, as I spoke about in the last previous show or two, is that information is just obtaining knowledge, right? It doesn't have power. It doesn't have power if we don't have application to it. So I want you to start relying a little bit on you. A lot of us are dormant with the information that we have. A lot of us are kind of like, we know better, but we're not necessarily doing better. So there are levels to this thing called life. So now that most of us are in phase 2 or heading to phase 2 of our life, either you pre-retirement or post-retirement, or you retired and semi-retired, or you looking forward to it. And this is the age range that we are here on the Rich Live show, on Coach Rich show. And this is where the anxiety started to sit in, right? Are you going to have enough finances to make it through? Leads me to the conversation of, are you self-reliant? And not only that, some of us still have a poverty mindset. And what do I mean by poverty mindset is, you know, the way we think sometimes keeps us at a place where we don't necessarily grow, right? What do I mean by poverty mindset? I'll give you some examples. If you believe that the money you work for or the money that you receive in your monthly check, if you believe that money is meant to pay for your bills and your responsibilities, that is somewhat of a poverty mindset. The wealthy and people that retain money typically use money to create more money, right? So I'm not telling you need to how to invest. I'm not telling you what you need to do. I'm just telling you that some of our mindsets keeps us in a poverty state, and not necessarily poverty in finances, but poverty as in health, poverty as in wealth, poverty as in just socialized in life. It's the mindsets that keep us where we are. You know, coming up, a lot of my peers, a lot of my friends had never really left or traveled outside of their immediate setting. So I was born in Miami, Florida, in public housing, raised up in an area called Liberty City. And a lot of my peers had never left the city, including myself for a bit, right? So we all didn't realize that we had a poverty mindset. So we were just living for the weekend. The whole thing was, hey, you get a summer job, you spend your money, and then you wait until you get paid again, and then you do it all over again. And we had a poverty mindset. And a lot of times, without contrast, self-reliance and information being applied, you can keep that poverty mindset. It has nothing to do with your age. It has nothing to do with a lot of things. It's indicative to the way that we think. So there's some folks that are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s that still somewhat are attached to a poverty mindset. And hopefully by the end of this conversation, you'll begin to rely a little bit more on the information that you have that you probably are not applying. Hopefully you start relying a little bit more on your intuition and all the intel that you have that is not necessarily being applied to your everyday life. Is this making sense? Good evening, DC for life. My DC friend. Good evening, Betty and everybody else. Right. So I want to have a free flowing conversation about just being a little bit more self-reliant, self-independent, and having a right kind of mindset. Like I say, most of us are in chapter 2 and 40s, 50s, and 60s. And there's different struggles in life as you get older, but there are ways to actually navigate a lot better But it becomes a little bit more challenging as you get more birthdays. It's a little bit more challenging to change the way that you do business because a lot of us have been embedded, things have been embedded into us to do it over and over and over again. Well, my friends, I got news for you. You know, technology, like it or not, will be the new era of the way everything will be acquired. Your benefits, your health care, your money, the way you shop, everything will be 100% digital within the next few years. Like it or not. And the way that this thing works is let's have an honest conversation. I'm gonna break it down for you. I'm gonna drop some gems. The way it works, society has it, and we're probably caught up in it. So y'all get ready for a real conversation. Can we have a real conversation? All right. Anybody that's been on a job for an extended period of time, if you are close to retirement, or if you remember when you retired, or you quit your job that you've been on for umpteen years, the way it is designed is by the time that it begins to evolve, you will be a certain age. And you begin to age, and then the system begins to rapidly leave you behind. And it becomes a little bit more challenging to adapt to a new way of doing things. And then there's some young buck, a young girl, fresh out of college that comes in and runs circles around you, and you feel sometimes less than. And that's the design, because it's evolving. And what happens is we get set in our way, and it becomes more challenging because we refuse to learn what's happening in the new era. So those of us that resisted technology, those of us that resist to embark on a new way of doing things, often feel frustrated. And that frustration leads to anxiety and agony. And sometimes this causes us to say, you know what? It's not what it used to be. I'm going to retire. I'm going to quit, or I don't want nothing to do with it. And then we begin to give up, thinking that society really cares about us giving up on keeping up. So that's why I'm encouraging you to continue to be self-reliant, continue to learn. See, because when you begin to get older, if you don't have children that are now young adults that come back and read for you or navigate through technology for you, life becomes that much more frustrating for you. Am I talking to somebody? Good evening, Trixie. So the conversation tonight is about how much of your brain that actually is still amazing and can absorb and can learn, and you can be more self-reliant. You know, the baby boomers, Generation X, were brought up in an era where things were kind of taken care of. Things were kind of taken care of for us, where we can count on a little bit more of what the government did or how things were laid out. But now we're in a society where people walk past people. People don't necessarily stop to make sure that you can navigate through things, getting in a line and getting to anybody ever. And I don't want to make the conversation about technology, but I'm talking about being self-reliant and not being afraid to learn what's happening in today's society, in the new era, and what happens. And the reason why I'm saying this, because I have so many folks that I coach that are in their 50s and their 60s, and they still have those burning desires to create businesses, to embark on their ambitions, but there's some level of anxiety because They've been tapped out. And I'm basically trying to get us to understand that we could tap back in because the brain is fully functional. And the more you use it, the more return you get on your investment. And not only that, you are so much more wiser to embark on an opportunity, and you're more likely to be successful if you did it now. I'm gonna tell you why. Look at Colonel Kentucky Fried Chicken. Made it when he was 70. Look at Walt Disney World. Look at all these folks that really made it, because a lot of times you're so ambitious when you're young, but you're foolish and you don't have all the tools and the instruments, and you don't have all the common sense. So I'm going to encourage you for this chapter, take everything that you learned in the previous chapter and understand it's applicable. You may not have the power or the strength. You may not have the speed, but you got the intellectual property. You have the institutional knowledge. So now you're the brain, which makes you more powerful than what you were when you had the energy and the physical strength. Be more self-reliant. The stuff that's in you, all the hiccups, all the bumps, all the bruises, all the loss, the bad investments into people, the bad investments into materialistic things, the bad investments with your time. You've learned so much and acquired so much with all those things. Now's the time for you to live out this thing. You can really be a true boss, because the new generation has a sense of entitlement where they're not going to be really pension-based type people, because they're going to constantly be hopping around from job to job. And that's why they're getting rid of the pension system, because people are not holding on to their jobs anymore. The younger folks, you upset them, they quit. They going on to the next. It's a true story, I know. I used to own a restaurant a couple of months ago. Well, up until January. And the turnover was high because the waiters and the waitresses and busboys, they were young folks, and they were work enough to get paid once and quit. Listen. So the point I'm trying to make is the Generation X and the baby boomers are really still the backbone of society right now. Like it or not. You could push back all you want to, but I'm telling you, our generation is still holding it down. We're looking better. We're more healthier. We're doing more. We're thriving harder. And I'm just basically saying, be more self-reliant, because you have the information, the data, all the experience that's required to keep this world moving. You matter more than you think. Stop relying on what they're saying on TV. Stop relying so much on what people outside are telling you. And also, stop listening to people that have failed more than you giving you advice. I'm talking to somebody. These are facts. Yeah, so I know there are a lot of folks that hit 40, anxiety kicks in. You hit 50, anxiety kicks in. You hit 60, anxiety kicks in. Like, it's a whole lot of anxiety out there unnecessarily. And now this thing that we have now labeled as anxiety, really, some of us are being diagnosed prematurely. It's not necessarily anxiety. It's fear. It's fear. It is fear. If you have an expiration date, I can understand your anxiety. So if someone told you, hey, you're going to die in 3 years, 2 years, I would have anxiety. But if you're 50, if you're 40, if you're 60, what if you live to your 90? Are you going to have anxiety for the next 30 years? Are you going to be fearful for the next 15 years? You get what I'm saying? Like, what are you not doing that you should be doing? Why are you not believing And this is not to everybody, but why haven't you started? What are you waiting on? Your idea. Let me tell you something about dreams, goals, and ideas. Even though they're given to you individually, if you sit on them, someone else will move on it. And you'll be saying to yourself, I knew I should have when I could have. Right? All right, so listen, I'm going to stop babbling for a few seconds because I want to know what you guys think about this, because I understand all the audience that we have here. We are all mature and heading towards that second phase, or already in that second phase. And I'm telling you that this is the point. This is why they save wine, because it really do get better with time. This is why they sit it on the shelf. So if you've been sitting on the shelf and you haven't started your business and you haven't did the things you want to do, then you know what? That's shame on you. If you're still down because of what happened to you years ago, that's your fault. You didn't have to stay there. So get up. Y'all agree? All right, so let me read some of these comments. Ask me, I'm going to tell you the Rich Live perspective. Renee say 100 true. Hey, Vera. DC for Life, I'm always calling my children. You're correct. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to encourage us to constantly evolve, because I think this is where people get left behind. This is where we get left behind when you don't evolve. And evolving is nothing to be afraid of. It's just learning something new, but it keeps you efficient. It keeps you independent. And the worst thing that you can lose is independence. Speak to some of the older folks that have lost independence. You don't want to lose that. So take advantage of where you are in your life right now. This is a period of endurance. It really is, Trixie. That's a great point. This is a period of endurance. Let me tell you something. I was so strong and fast, and I was smart when I was in my 30s, man. I just could rule the world. But I really didn't have a whole lot of life experience. I really didn't have a whole lot of information to make wise decisions. But when I got in my 40s, I started wising up. My late 40s, I got even wiser. So, by the time I hit 50, I figured this thing out. And I think the way that society is, I think that the way the world is, like it or not, you really don't start figuring out who you really are until you hit this era of your life where you're in your 40s and 50s. Sometimes 60s. Like a lot of times you don't figure it out. And I'm telling you that this is the endurance, like Trixie say, this is the endurance period right here. This is where you shine. Have you seen your generation, how beautiful you guys look? How in shape you guys are? Like, you're really the epitome. And I was talking to somebody the other day where we were saying, like maybe 20 years ago, if someone said they were 60, you were like, ooh, you don't have long. Because they didn't have the information to take care of themselves. They were not living as long as we're living. They were not being as people were not as graceful because they didn't have the information to help support people with health and staying in shape and staying beautiful. Now they got all this stuff that you can do and make you feel good about yourself. And if you don't feel good about yourself inside, then outside it will begin to reflect. So the epitome of this conversation is to start being more self-reliant. You spend your whole entire life accumulating intelligence. You spend your whole entire life, good, bad, and indifferent. Sometimes life happened to you. Sometimes life happened for you. All of this is a accumulation of potential success in the future. Where we get stuck is we fall down and we stay there. We're constantly telling the world what made us fall. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. This is what gets us stuck. We fall down, or life knocks us down, and we stay down, and we spend the rest of the time that we're down explaining to people how we got knocked down. But if you're still there, I'm going to say that's on you. Life will happen automatically. You're going to take some fat lips. You're going to get your mouth bust. You're going to get your nose broke. I mean, life is going to beat you down. But if you choose to stay on the canvas, and that happened months and years ago, then that's on you. You got to be self-reliant. Pick yourself up. You know what I'm saying? Continue to move forward. Yeah, change environments. Do what you got to do. So be more self-reliant, and moving forward into the chapter, challenge yourself. If you're afraid of it, do it scared. I got so many stories of people here on my team and the network, and people that have come through my organization and that have worked with me, that are currently working with me. A lot of folks are in their own way, very capable of evolving, but refuse to. I'll give you an example. There are so many people, and y'all probably can relate to this, that try to squeeze the world into their little boxes because they can't get out of the box. I'm sure some of y'all can relate. Y'all know anybody like that? I've had people come and work for me and say, okay, this is how I'm going to work for you. People will try to shrink the world into their little box as opposed of expanding themselves to be exposed to the world. But their little box is their comfort place. Do not let the world box you in so much so that you're not willing to embark on something different. This is the reality. I have people come and say, this is how I want to do it. Well, this is not what the industry does. Catch up with the industry. It's not going to change for you. Life is not like that. Go to people's job and tell people what you're going to do. Yeah. So I know everybody can relate to. How you doing, Leslie? I'm going to use one of my staff members, and I know she probably don't mind. She going to yell at me later. I'm going to use all my people. Matter of fact, I'm going to use all my people. Lady CK, she don't mind her age. She's beautiful. Y'all can click on her icon. She look crazy too. But Lady CK, I love her. Beautiful queen, in her 60s. And we met on this platform. And I was having a conversation just like I am now. And then she DM'd me. This is a true story. This happened not long ago. And she told me she had a little background, and there was some desire to be on broadcast, to be in media and do interviews, and so I challenged her. I didn't know how old she was. I really didn't. I thought she was in her 50s. She looks young for her age. So I challenged her, and she was like, "I don't know nothing. I don't know about the technology. I want to do it, but and immediately we just started knocking those butts out. But your age has nothing to do with it. Your exposure or lack of exposure to technology has nothing. So we started taking out all those but I can't. So when we start navigating through all the apprehensiveness, she realized that I can do this. Now, with all her fear of technology and all the fear of this new era, this young, beautiful lady in her early 60s that have never done anything like this is now engineering and running her own show on Wednesdays. You can check it out tomorrow. This is a true story. She had so much anxiety. She had so much fear. I pushed her on stage and she blew it away. And y'all don't believe me? Tune in tomorrow at the Lady CK show. 60 something years old. And I threw all this technology at her. Buy this equipment, buy that equipment, do this, connect this wire to this, download this software. She was like, Richard. But watch her. Look at her now. This is less than, I don't know, maybe this 4 or 5 months ago. Now she has her own show. We're broadcasting. We're a radio station. You see me on TikTok, but we're actually broadcasting. We're being heard in 27 countries outside of the U.S. And now we have a new personality, Lady CK. And I'm so proud of what she's doing. I'm using her as an example of there's so much more to do. There's so much more that can be done if you get out of your way. If you get out of your way. Get out of your own way. So the moral of the story is, what are you sitting on? What's in your treasure chest? Who can you help? The world needs you, man. This whole world, I'm gonna put you up on game. The world is a jigsaw puzzle. This is game. This is true game. If you believe in God, it's gonna make more sense to you. But even if you don't, the world is a jigsaw puzzle. And each one of us is a piece to the puzzle. Each one of us are needed to be a solution for something or someone some problem that this world has. And if you look at it this way, but the puzzle is not permanent. We're all here on borrowed time. And if you understand that the piece that you are to this puzzle is like a shell, and you can use it wisely and complete the puzzle and do your part, or you can be the empty piece that the puzzle never got a chance to see. What part of the puzzle of this life do you fit in? You're very valuable. You're a piece that is required to complete something. It's up to you to figure out where you fit in this life called puzzle. Is that making sense? I know, it's kind of metaphoric, but that's the way I explain things. Everyone is so important to life, and everyone is a solution to the world's problem. We all don't solve the same problems, but we all are a solution to something. And the truth of the matter is, some problems will never be solved because some people passed away without using their piece of the puzzle. What piece of this life that you're not contributing? We all have stories. There's no one here that's listening that doesn't have a story. There's no one here that doesn't have a book in them. There's no one here that doesn't solve a problem. There's no one here that cannot be profitable. We were not put on this earth to just perish without fulfilling dreams or destiny. We were not. Start being more self-reliant. The information that you have works. The knowledge and experience that you've been through helps. It makes a difference. If you have a voice, sing. Some people may not like it. Glowtory. Some people will love it. There's an audience for each and every one of us. There's an audience for you that's waiting on you. I was talking to someone, I think it was Vera. So here's the thing, and I believe this with every fiber in me, that less than 1% of our immediate circle, y'all got to stay with me on this one. Less than 1% of our immediate circle, that means our siblings, our children, our nieces, nephews, our husband, our spouses. This makes up 0.1%. Our classmates. Everybody that we know, think about this for a second. Everyone that you know makes up 0.0.0.1% of the world's population. Everyone that you know. Your family reunion makes up 0.1% of the entire world. Your whole entire family. But yet, a lot of us do not pursue our goals and our visions based on the 0.1%. We let that 0.1% discourage us from the 99% of the rest of the universe. There's an audience for each and every one of us that we have not met. But if you make up your mind to quit based on this very small percentage called family, friends, coworkers, and neighbors, then you are really doing a disservice to yourself. See, when I started this whole radio station production, idea, when I started this, 99% of the people thought that I was crazy and thought it wouldn't work. But I kept saying, I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to be on big stages. And 99% of my immediate circle, which represents less than 1% of the world, thought I was crazy. When I introduced myself to the 99%, they were waiting on me. So my production company, we provide audio video services. So if you go to a Democratic event, or you go to an event where a governor, a mayor, or a president will be speaking, well, presidents have spoken on my equipment. Leaders of this nation have spoken on my audio equipment. They have used my microphones. They have used my company. And I have been in other countries. I'm saying this not to brag. I'm saying that had I quit with that 0.1% of people that told me it was impossible, the rest of the nation wouldn't have never got exposed to the gift that God had given me. Did you stop pursuing what you had based on the 0.1%? What did you give up on based on this small committee of people that are not qualified to even tell you to quit? Because a lot of them still have poverty mindsets. Go get your 99. I got mine. Shift your mindset. This is reality talking. Appreciate the love. Alonzo says so true. I'm trying these principles in my business. It's working. I was afraid of technology. Thank you so much for being honest in your transparency. Keep going, Alonzo. I know you've spoken about your business. Man, we would love to support you. One day we got to talk and chop it up and see what we can do to support you. So this is what you see this name. It may be backwards on the screen, but it's called the MSE Network, Mega Source. The MS stand for Mega Source, right? And the E is for entertainment. When I thought of this name, it's 18 years old. I've been in business for 18 years. When I thought of this name, I knew I wanted it to be large, mega, source, and I wanted it to be resourceful. And I knew I would grow into it. So I'm not trying to change the conversation into entrepreneurship. I'm just saying self-reliance, meaning that no matter who around you in your immediate circle, it may seem like an army of people that's telling you it's not possible, that's doubting you. It may appear to be an army, but compared to the rest of the universe, they're just a peanut. Expose yourself to the rest of the universe, but you got to be self-reliant. You got to have self-belief, and then you got to be able to plow through the naysayers. And they don't necessarily mean harm, but ignorance is bliss. Find some people that believe in what you believe in. Be the piece of the puzzle that's missing. And that's exactly what I did. I started becoming the piece of the puzzle. I got away from the saturation. Learn to love and do what people hate. That's the secret. That's how I got into this technology stuff. People around me and that worked with me didn't like it. I learned to love it, and it changed my life. Come on now. I'm talking to somebody. You're welcome, Trixie. That's right. Glow Tori said our story's still being right. Absolutely, Glow. Keep singing. Keep doing what you do. Whatever it is, I'm telling you, unfortunately, the people that influence us the most are the people, when it comes to your dream, matters the least. Period. Go get your 99%. You'll be amazed. We're at this season of our lives where it will work. It will work. The only reason it won't is because you didn't give it a shot. This thing is like lotto. Good evening to you, Yvette. And who else is over there on the MSC? Good evening to you, Yvette. So make the right choices. Fail. Fall. Do it fearful. Let me read some of these comments. Our story's still being written, Glow. You're right. Trixie say it's about the choices that we make. It is. Facts, Mr. Rich. Appreciate it. Vera. Judge Mathis, famous boxer, etc. Yeah. I use my real people. Ronnie is another one that works for me as well. Met Ronnie. Ronnie was a mess. She was a mess. If there's a billboard of somebody in their way, it would have Ronnie's picture on it. I keep it 100. That lady was so in her way, it was ridiculous. She would just block all her stuff. But Ronnie worked at the radio station. She had 2 jobs. She worked at the radio station, and then she worked in my restaurant. And coaching her, Ronnie really turned me into a coach. So the moral of the story is she was in her way. And there were ways that she could have self-actualized, but her concern was always other things that didn't even weigh in on her life. So she would concern herself about things that didn't make a difference in her life. And once we navigated through that, she became such a wonderful person. Working now, gainfully employed, doing her own thing, just independent. Just I'm proud of you and where she's come through. But when I met her, she, very well spoken, seemed like she had her stuff together. And as I got to know her, I was like, you could be so much further in life if you got out of your own way, if you were more self-reliant and use the information that you've already learned, and really not powerful until you apply it. So when we start getting her to apply these things, I started pushing her into unfamiliar territories and amazing results. I'm saying this could be you. What part of it? She's a piece of a puzzle that is solving some solution in the world. So I'm proud of everybody that that at some point, and Ronnie, I don't know how old you are. I think he got a birthday coming up. Ronnie's in her 50s, late 50s. But she discovered herself recently. It's like, wow. I discovered myself when I was like 49. I was like, man, you got something. So listen, ask questions. I want to help you out. Lady CK say thank you for publishing, for pushing and influencing and not giving up. And that's the thing. It's so easy to give up on people. It is the way of the world. Like, we come from a microwave society right now where if you can't get it quick, everybody wants to give up on you and just push you to the side. And I'm telling you, this platform is indicative to patience and understanding that you do so much better with maturity, and steady always wins the race. You know, my pops say the leaning tree is not always the first to fall. And we represent a tree with strong roots. So hopefully by the end of this conversation, we'll all be bearing really good fruit for ourselves. Okay? Hey, Amp. I don't want to mess your name up. Emporo. How are you? Welcome. Ronnie, you're 59. Okay. Hey, Lisa. She said, I've thought about being a Christian relationship coach. People are drawn to me. Listen, Lisa, that's good. If people are drawn to you, listen, this is the secret sauce to purpose. Even if you don't know your purpose, just pay attention to what people come to receive from you. You may have, like, this whole speaking and coaching thing. Like, I used to have like directors, superintendents. They just wanted to take me to lunch, and I would just enjoy the food. But at some point I was like, why they keep choosing me? And they will always say, let me run something by you. And I'm like, but I'm just a little peanut in the peanut gallery. Why you want to run it by me? Because I had something. So people typically could see your gifts and your purpose sometimes a lot clearer than you. But the fear is that if they let you know, then it may be costly for them to let you know your worth. So if people are coming to you for advice, whatever that thing is people are nudging you for that you take for granted, that might be your thing. You may want to revisit that. Let's see, so true. Went down during COVID. Yeah. So listen, get to a point where you can pivot, get to a point where you can reinvent yourself, but be self-reliant. You have what it takes. You know what you need to know. All the bumps and the bruises and the good, the bad, the ugly, everything makes up a nice little gumbo to solve the world's problem. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be surprised. Just don't forget that less than 1% of our immediate circle influences us. And unfortunately, a lot of us lay our dreams and visions at the foot of the 0.0001% of people. When I started making it in my business, all the people that doubted me, I don't even see them anymore. I don't even see them. They see me. I'm sure they see me. I'm all over the internet. They see you. They see you. A lot of them watching to see, if he fails. If she fails. People are watching you. People are hoping you don't do that thing that you could do. People are hoping you don't open that dream or open that restaurant or open. People are hoping that you don't, because when you do, you expose them. Let me say, tell me what you want to do. Let's do some live coaching. Let's see if I'm really qualified to do this. Let's just say she wants to, you want to help people with mental illness. You're working in the medical field for 30 years. You have no idea that you are an encyclopedia. If you worked in a medical facility, I don't care if you was a janitor, you know more than the average Joe Blow. You know a lot working inside a medical facility. You are very resourceful. I tell you what, start volunteering. Start volunteering. Let me give you a secret sauce. If you got a business inside of you and you're not sure it works and you don't have the confidence, start low. This is what I did. I went to the senior citizens home with my production company. That's what I did. I went, took some video projectors and some screens and some microphones, and we had a party at the senior citizens, the 55 and up. Man, we had a ball. We had a sock hop. Got testimonies. The moral of the story is I did it for free. I just wanted to see if it works and how people would receive me. And then they invited me back the next year. Then I became the ambassador. So the point I'm trying to make is whatever that thing is that you want to do, find a place that will allow you to do it, Yvette. You know, if anybody survived, the survivors of any diagnosis, survivors of domestic violence, narcissistic relationships, hurt, pain, whatever you may have been through, go to that place that needs you. Take some time and speak to it. And, you know, create some business cards and go and say, hey, listen, you guys have groups, and speak to a group. If you think you have a book in you, talk to them for about an hour. Go by the jail, talk to some inmates, go by the church, go by the senior citizen home, go by the hospital, you know, go to the Make-A-Wish Foundation and see if you make a wish. The point I'm trying to make is you'll realize that you will light up somebody's life. If you're an event planner, volunteer to coordinate someone's event. And in return, have them do a testimony or write a review or make a recommendation. Like this is listen. No excuses, man. Do it. Do that thing. Do it. This is one. You're welcome. Thanks, Veronica Thrasher. I'm so proud of you, man. You look beautiful. Veronica's one of my first group of listeners. I'm putting everybody's business out there. Veronica lost a whole person. I think she lost, I don't even want to say the number, but she lost a lot of weight. She lost a whole person. But it all happened right here on this network, and we thank her for trusting us with her physical fitness right here on this network. So shout out to Dave Curtis, who was very instrumental in helping with that process. Alon say he owns a car body shop and want to franchise. Everything is possible. Don't just try to do it because you think of it. Everything is possible. So you can do anything, but understand, here's the thing, and take this with you. Once you realize 1,000% of what we do in life is a formula. I'm going to say that again. Say this with me. Everything in life is a formula. We are a formula. Headaches, aspirin. Allergic to aspirin, Tylenol. Okay? Food, strength, protein. You know, We're a formula. The point I'm trying to make is everything is a formula. If you're gonna cook something, there's a formula. Everything in life, once you realize everything in life is a science that has already been perfected. So you ain't gotta learn nothing. Once you understand in business and in life, everything is a formula. I remember being an investigator and for many years before I retired. Once I realized, like, man, this thing is a formula. I don't care how complex the crime was. I followed the same formula. I didn't create the formula. So whatever you want to be successful in, understand the formula. The formula. I cannot say this enough. Okay. Yep. So would you say, Renee, those that came in late, you can view us on YouTube? Yes, you can. Yeah, so keep that in mind. Formula. Please say that. Formula to yourself. If you're curious about something, from losing weight to relationships to entrepreneurship, religion, health, finances, whatever it is, there is a formula to it, period. If you don't research the formula to it, everyone that had COVID, if you're still here and you have survived COVID, it's because you probably followed the formula, the vaccine formula. Wealthy people, formula. Poverty folks, formula. The people in the projects, formula. People in Beverly Hills, formula. Political arena, formula. Marketing, formula. I can go on and on. I don't care what it is in this world. It had to be created from a system that we call a formula. Find it. What's the recipe? Don't overthink it. Somebody already did it. And in some cases, you may have to take bits and pieces of recipes to create your own. But just know there's a formula to everything. I cannot beat that in your head enough. I was trying to master some stuff and do some stuff, man, and I was just bumping my head. Until a rich man told me, Richard, you got to understand the formula. Right. So here's another tip. With that formula that you have for repairing cars, Mr. Auto Body Shop guy, appreciate that, Lonzo. For the person that used to cook, Rosie, used to cook for her team. For the person that wants to help people with mental illness. Formula. It's a formula. It's something that everyone uses, and there's no secret. If you worked on anybody's job, you were part of a system. If you worked on anybody's job ever, you were part of a formula. This is how they know how much to pay you. It's a formula. This is how the world turns. Get the recipe to what you need. Follow the recipe. And then once you figure it out, you add your own little spices to it. Hopefully I'm helping somebody. You're welcome. Good evening, Jackie. How you doing? So, hey, listen, I'm going to take this next few minutes to answer some questions, and hopefully I'm helping somebody. So, listen, you're at this place where you're seasoned, you're smart, you have enough information, you've been through enough, you should be recognizing what your purpose is and starting to operate in your purpose. And this is the season of endurance, somebody said earlier. So Leslie said, next week I will start my journey at the adult daycare and remember the formula. Yes, take this with you. This is something that could really be instrumental in your future. It really could. A lot of us are trying to cultivate things in our life. We're trying to get healthier. We're trying to prevent from getting diseases. We're trying to create more finances, be more stable in life. We're trying to stop having so many bad relationships. You know, we have desires, and I'm telling you, the answer to your desires is understanding the recipe to success. If you want to be like anything, just understand the formula. A lot of us that are still working, they give you the formula every day. The formula is the time you have to be to work, what you do when you get there, how you do it, why you do it, how long is your lunch break, how much they pay you per hour. If you use that same formula and create it in your own institution, bingo. Here at my business, my company, we have policies, we have procedures, we have training, orientation. We have everything that a job like this job needs to have. But I didn't create it. I developed it, but it was taken from a template of a formula that already existed. I'm putting you up on game. I don't care how big or small it is. Tyler Perry uses a formula. Oprah Winfrey uses a formula. Tony Robbins, Eric Thomas, Miles Monroe, the artists that we listen to, the musicians. There are only so many keys on a keyboard. There's only so many strings on the guitar. They're all playing from a basic formula. Find your formula. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this conversation. I'm going to see if y'all got a few more questions. But hey, listen, if you want some coaching, I am a strategic life strategist, business strategist. I tell you, I do a little bit more than coaching. I give you the formula. I give you strategic methodologies of getting from one point to the other. See, a lot of us get stuck at motivation. Motivation doesn't necessarily, it makes us feel good, but until you apply the information and the knowledge, it is just information. So let's start shopping for the formula. Let's get the ingredients out the way for what we need to do what we want. All right. Find out what others have done to be successful and figure out what's the formula. Okay. I don't care what it is. It works in every institution for everyone, from preacher to teacher to doctor to electrician to yard man, auto repair, mental health specialist, cook, chef, waitress, whatever. The formula works. Follow the formula for success. There's also a formula for getting in trouble. There's a formula for being stuck. There's a formula for poverty mindsets. A lot of us are stuck in the bad formula of poverty mindsets. See, if you're in the institution where everybody is struggling, that's a bad recipe. Go get you a good recipe. Change your diet. Hey, listen, y'all, the clock on the wall say this all. I appreciate you. Make sure you're following me each and every Tuesday. I'm going to keep doing this and until y'all show me y'all not interested in it. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that I help somebody. Hey, Miss G, thanks for following me. So if you would like to have some coaching, just follow me. Hit the link in the bio. Get your free consultation, and I'll talk to you for nothing. I want to help everybody. I want everybody to succeed. This is my way of giving back. God has been good to me. I figured it out, and I just want to help everybody else figure it out. Figure out what's the formula, and be more self-reliant. Trust your instinct. You have it. You got what it takes. Stop making decisions on the 0.1% of people in your life. So that means that on average in your family, at your family reunion, if it's 200 people, 100 people, 300 people, they still make up 0.1% of the world. So that means that if everybody in your entire family said that it would not work and that you're horrible, you still have 999 million people that have yet to meet you. So don't give up on you. Rely on you. It works. You got it. The time to start is when you're seasoned. When you're seasoned. I had it all when I was young. I had money and everything. Lost it all. I was young. I wasn't seasoned enough. And now I know how to retain it. So be encouraged, man. Now is the time. And if you can't physically do it, you create the recipe. You create the formula. You get the LLC, and then you hire people to make the ingredients work for you. Hey, Cassandra. All right, so hey, you can come back and watch this later on YouTube. Share it with somebody. Hopefully this helps. But listen, if I can leave you with anything, just keep in mind that you're at this place in your life where no matter what's going on, what season you're in, you're very purposeful, and that you are a piece to a major puzzle, and the world needs you because whatever it is that you have inside of you is a solution for someone or something. So go ahead and solve the problem, because that's what you've been equipped to do. Whether it's make someone laugh, fixing a meal, or whatever it is, that thing that you do, you are a piece of the puzzle. You are a solution. Go and solve whatever it is. It's going to make you feel better. There's no worse thing in this world to do than to leave this earth without fulfilling your purpose. Take ownership back of your life and control, and be more self-reliant, and understand the world can only leave you behind if you let it. Figure out what the formula is. Figure out what the recipe is. Let's start baking. All right. Leslie says, I have my book, writing down my game plan and using my formula. Me and my girlfriend would do this. Please let me know how it work out. Shout out to those people that take this advice and apply it. Go volunteer your service if you're not sure. Go do it for someone for free. Help someone to their destiny. And then you'll find the purpose in you helping. And if you're a believer, you'll get all the tools and instruments that's required. And before I go, this guy, God put this on my heart. Let me tell you what happened. I remember, this is a true story, really quick story. When I started DJing, this is a true story. Listen, this is very important. I was 17 years old I started when I was a kid, but when I was 17 years old, I was with a group, and I was the youngest in the group, and they used to let me DJ until the party started. Then they would make me move to the side. And the DJ at the time was probably not that great. And I remember these elderly women pulled me to the side outside. And they said, you know what, you're really good at what you do. You should be in control. And I said, well, they hired me. You know, I work for them. I'm the youngest. It was like, yeah, but you're the best. So they had $500 balled up in their hand. This is a true story. They said, we know this is not much, but go buy you some speakers, boy. So I took that $500 and I bought me some speakers from the flea market. This is a true story. They called me back next month to do their party. It was about 100 people packed into a house, and I killed it. And from that point, I already understood the formula. But because I was volunteering for free, I was on my platform and I didn't even know it. And that's what created this guy that you're hearing today. Somebody sowed a seed into me because I was operating in my purpose. If you operate in your purpose, even if you volunteer, someone may ask you for your number, refer you to someone, remember something that you did, and it may be the gateway to fulfilling your destiny by being a piece to someone's puzzle. Be the solution. And if you don't be the solution, you'll be the problem. So let's start working on the formula. Until the next time, Rich Live love you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, all right? Have a good rest of your week. I'll see you Saturday. Love you.